1984, Chapter 7. Now, in this chapter, what's happening with the character is not as significant. That's why I haven't said anything for a few days. But this chapter is extremely important because the things that he realizes and thinks about are the most important things of all. We've already talked, what could be more important than truth and love? It's the point where he uses his own thinking to realize something isn't, or anyway, what he does is the chapter starts out, he says, hey, he realizes salvation of everything because people aren't really happy with their situation. And he realizes the only way that they're ever going to break out of this is the proles, which what proles are is the majority. There's a whole lot of people that aren't even in the party. They're free people. They're the people who raise people, who shop and exist, and nobody even cares about them because they don't have a voice. It's like the people who don't even vote, well, they're not even really society. They're not even part of the society, but yet they are. And the number of them, they're actually more of a majority than the people of the party. But the people of the party are only concerned with other people in the party when they talk about who's going to make things right. Anyway, he remembers a situation where there was he was walking down the street just perfectly normal, and all of a sudden he heard these, oh no! Now something terrible had happened, and he thought, oh no, it's a revolution. It's the proles, who are these other people who aren't even members of society. And he thought, oh, it's a revolution, but all it was a vendor or somebody who was selling something. They ran out, and the people were all upset and stuff. That's all it was. The other very, very, very important thing is, well, he realizes that he's not writing in his journal for the future. Remember before he was writing in that journal? He realized that he's kind of writing it for some guy at work. Oh, Brian. And that's who he's writing to. That's his audience. Anyway, and he remembers this point where he actually he had a piece of evidence that proved that, he's always mentioned that the past can be changed, no big deal, and sometimes it has to be to prove or to keep everything consistent because that's his job, right? Well, he's like, well, what if the past can't actually change? Because he thinks that. He doesn't know why he's thinking that. But he finds this picture. Okay, first let me tell you, step back a little bit. This is not any part of the plot, but it's something that he's thinking and remembering. He found this picture and has these guys at this party. And it looks like they're having fun. No big deal, right? Oh, but this is important because in the picture, those guys who were at the party had given a testimony that they were vaporized and stuff. But in the story, they were vaporized because of I keep using that great big word. I'm sorry. They were put into prison, and the reason why they were removed from society was because they said that they had done something really bad. But that wasn't true. That they didn't do that. Because this picture showed that they said that they were in Eurasia at the time. But this picture showed that they were on the same day they were somewhere else. And at the time he was so scared that he had found evidence that everything was a lie. And he worked for the Department of Truth, right? So what he does is he slides it under some other papers and then he throws it in the garbage to be burned up so as if it never existed. And so now it's only in his memory that he remembers he had proof. It wasn't just a memory at that point, but now it is. He had proof that things in the past were a certain way. It'd be like if somebody had a video of somebody singing. Because when I was a kid, I remember them showing, like, during a rock video they had, where somebody had the actual singing of this person. They were playing with the tape, so they sounded great, but then this other person had a recording of what they actually sounded like, and their microphone, it was totally different. Anyway, so this is evidence that things weren't what they looked like, and he was kind of confused. But so now what's going to be done about it? He writes about it in his journal, but what will truly be done? There's a lot to think about in this chapter.